let's look at 35mm cameras. I was given this camera just recently by my daughter. I remember we went out and bought this when she went to college, which is 20 years ago. And it was probably 20 years old when she had it. One of the things that happens to a lot of old SLR cameras is the light seals go. You can see the light seals, they'll go in this trap here all the way along, and you have them at either end. If you can see that is gone, it's gone really tacky. That is definitely gone. I need to get rid of this and replace it with some new. There's several different ways you can do this. I've heard you can use isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol with his, I think we call surgical spirits. But I'm going to use Ronseal gas and then put it on with a fine brush. That'll probably do it, we hope. So let's get cracking. Right, before I get started, what I want to do is prevent anything falling into the back window. If it affects my shutter blades and I'm really stuck, I'm using a bit of ordinary masking tape. Don't press it down too hard, just place it there. The last thing you want to do is end up with a sticky track where your film goes. But I will feel a little bit happier if I've at least made an effort in trying to stop any dust particles getting into my camera. That's all I need to do. I gave up with the lighted fuel. It really wasn't lifting away any of the glue in these tracks, so I ended up sending for some IPA plus, basically rubbing alcohol, and that seemed to have done the trick. The only thing is, I would recommend, if you're going to do this, do it in the best light source possible, not in the studio where I'm using lights, but outside. You find that it's so messy, it is unbelievable. These are the sticks that I was using. I also used little toothpicks. They did it as well, they helped. But you need to be outside. When you're using this alcohol, it dissipates quite quickly. It just evaporates into the air. These are the sort of things I was coming against. You've got this rubbery substance coming off all the time. I don't know if it's just this particular camera, but they really were in a bad state and I had to struggle quite hard to get them. I put the alcohol first into a little dish, dipping away, painting away. I found it disappeared so quickly. But what I was managed to get hold of was one of my wife's little bottles that she used for scent. I topped that up, and with it being a small aperture, none of it dissipated, well, very little, and it did the job quite well. So I've got them nice and clean now. Thank goodness I put my paper on the back. The tiny little globules of basically the foam itself and the glue together, they were ridiculous. If you brush them away, they left a dirty great big stain. So I'm glad I'd actually made an effort to do this. I was quite worried about taking the one out on the inside where the mirror comes against the top. When you press it down, I'm not going to do that now because it'll go bang up against. I've actually taken it out, but in here, can you see, I've removed this one. I thought I was being very lucky. That's what I first took out. That came out very easily, but again, the glue and everything else that was attached to it, it took some time to get out. Best success I had with that was cotton buds. I used the cotton buds with the alcohol, and it did start to come away quite easily. But there's one or two little warnings. Don't try and do this on an OM-1 or an OM-2 because you've got sensors built into the back here on both of those cameras, and they very easily would get clogged up, get dirty, and then you'll be in big trouble. But do take extra care. I found in the end, holding the camera upside down and tilting it towards myself, if any of the pieces, debris came away, hopefully they would come out of the camera that way and not back into the workings of the camera. But it was a long job, but well worth doing. All I need to do now is to cut my strips of foam and put them in. Hopefully it's going to be as simple as that. You can buy the replacement rubbers as part of a kit. Everything comes in one bag, but what I did, I bought this off the internet. It's 2mm thick neoprene and it's got a tacky side to it, so that should do everything I need to do. I was rather lucky. Years ago I managed to get myself a Demco trimmer, and I can trim these sections really small, so I don't think you'd do it with a pair of scissors. It's worse than looking for an old trimmer if you can get hold of one. Right, now starts the challenge of fitting it in. Try having a go at this first. I've done 3 or 4 attempts at this and it's really starting to get to me now. So I decided to cut them just that little bit thinner, make sure that they slip in nice and dry. What's happening is, because they're too wide, they're springing back and then the tacky material is coming to the top. So when I shut the door of the camera, it sticks. That's the last thing I want. Was a little bit fiddly, but I found the best thing to do was switch the camera off, because I want you watching me do time after time before I got it right. What I did is put it onto a small screwdriver, and there I can then place it in, manipulate it till I get it roughly in the right area, stick one side down and then move it around with a screwdriver. Try that if you get stuck. Well, I've completed the project. There are several things to look out for when you're doing this. I learnt by mistakes, like everybody else does. I cut some of these a little bit too wide, and when I was trying to put them in the light trap, I found that they were twisting over and the tacky side of the rubber basically was coming to the top. So when I tried to shut the door, yes, it shut, but then I couldn't get it open again because it was tacky. It was being held by the little glue residue that was down the side. So the thing to do is to cut them small enough and then do a dry run. Put them in and make sure they fit nicely before you take off the adhesive. Other things to look out for. I found the best tool I got for cleaning them was, believe it or not, a Costa Coffee's stirring stick. You can keep breaking it into tiny pieces, and each time you've got, have a look through there if I can get it sharp enough, you've got the rough edge, and that will pick out the rubber. So it's quite a good little instrument, and I'm sure Costa Coffee will let you have one or two. Other things, probably making sure that they're clean enough when you've taken them out, using plenty of isopropyl alcohol and clean them out, make sure they're nice and dry. The other drawback, probably, I noticed yesterday when I take my lens off now, there's a tremendous amount of small particles on the mirror down there. I've got to clean them up. The only thing is, it makes you stop to think, where's the rest of these particles gone? I do hope they're not got trapped in the mechanism somehow, in the shutter blades or whatever, but we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. On the good side, I've probably saved a camera from being thrown away, and it will be of use to other people after me. So go ahead, have a go yourself. Best of luck. And as everybody says, if you liked it, give us a tick. Please subscribe, and remember, don't take life too seriously. One other tool I always have when I'm doing any camera repairs, everybody should have a sonic screwdriver. Cheerio, see you soon.